Okay, so we have the beginnings of of having routing, of having introduced services, components, HTML templates. We'd like to start thinking about how is that we're going to interact with a remote service, right? Because the data, we don't want to hard code it like we did here. Instead, we'd like to be able to interact with a remote service, right, that is hosting all this content. Okay. So just like we have, we have already built in previous classes, we already built a model that is hosting a lot of the content that we want to use. So, for instance, in Java, we had implemented several models that provided courses and lessons and modules and everything, right? So we had created services for that as well, right? We have the course service that allowed us to retrieve all the courses for a particular faculty, right? So we'd like to be able to use this instead of our hard-coded content. Okay, so let's see if we can hit the content over here. All right, so I have here an example of courses that are actually connected to a relational database. Let me stop this. Let me see if I can start it and we can play around with it a little bit. Here we have a set of models of courses. We have a services for a course service that will allow us to retrieve all the courses. Let's see. Yeah, retrieve all the courses from a repository. Very much like what you're going to be doing for the assignment, right? Of retrieving things from a database. So it's already solved in my CS5200, and I'll share with you so that you can get you started, right? So let's start this so that we can use the same content that we already have. Let's start that. Java run as Java. So that's going to get started. Okay. All right. So now we have the API. I believe it's available at API course. So if we try to hit this localhost 8080, right, and we say API/course, this retrieves content. Right, this is already JSON data that is coming from a database. It's coming from here. There it is. This table here, CS5200, 5610, 4500, right, 123. So these are all data that is coming from this database, right, using the JPA techniques that we covered last week, right? We have here a course that is an entity. Right, it's declared as a primary a key here. ID is a primary key. It's generated on the database. It has an ID, has a title, has all the setters and getters. So everything like an entity that you're going to be building for the current assignment. And the service allows us to retrieve all the courses. Allows us to retrieve a particular course. Right. So if we provide here a particular course. Course number 3 returns just 5610, right? Again, using the same techniques that we talked about last week. So what we'd like to be able to do is interact with this API, but from our brand new Angular application. So let's get started. So one of the things that we'd like to be able to do is, just like we have a user service to interact with users, well, we want something similar to interact with courses. Okay. So we need just like there's a service for users, we would like to have a service for courses. So we'd like to have something like course.service.client.ts. Right? And this would provide access to the various CRUD operations on the middle tier. So this would be something like export class course service client. And this would host functions such as find all courses. Right? This would have find course by ID. So this would be course ID. It would have create course. So all the CRUD operations would live here. So delete course. They would all live here. Okay? And we would inject this, right? We would do an injectable. Right, so that it could be injected into a component that might try to render a list of courses, right? So yeah. One more thing that we need to remember is that it needs to be declared in the app module. We need to be declared as a provider, right? We can't forget to do that. So in here, our course service component. Did I misspell it? Service. I'm sorry. English is not my first language. Did I? Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. So in here, what you'd expect is the same thing we did for the previous, like we did for React, right? Something similar. We would do a fetch, something like a fetch here. This would be a return fetch, and it would be the HTTP : / and this would be AP localhost colon 8080, and this would be /API /course. Okay. What don't you like? Oh. Wants the single quotes. What's up with the quotes? All right, so this is the course service. Now, I can inject this anywhere I want to be able to access the courses. In particular, it would be my component that renders courses. Remember we had that before? Right, we have our courses service. Course, where is it? Course list. There it is. There's my course list. And in my TypeScript here, no, not the spec file. In my component, in my component, I can ask for my brand new course service that I just created. So this would be private course service, spelled correctly. No, I misspelled it again. Service, course, service, there it is. And one of the things that I could do is perhaps right here on load, retrieve the list of courses right from here. You can say, this dot course service dot find all courses. Right, so I have to be able to navigate to my list of courses. Now, to my list of courses, notice that I don't have them as part of my route, so I can't navigate there anywhere, right? There's nowhere for me to navigate there. So let's add a route that would allow me to navigate to my course service. Right, so let's do that in the route. Let's create here a new one that says courses. That loads my course list component. There it is. Right? Unresolved variable. What? Did I misspell it? Oh, component. Oh, yeah, sorry. So that in my home HTML, we can now add courses as one of the options. So this would be courses, and this would be courses. Something like that. There we go. Here's my courses. And if we click on there, notice that it navigated to my course list, and it's using the hard-coded list of courses, right? And let's see our network, what happened here. Notice that it went to course, there it is, it went. Notice that it's actually coming back with data from the server, right? There it is, right, my CS5200. So it went to the server, right? It came back with data. And what we can do is that in my component, instead of using the hard-coded list of array of these courses here, what I could do is replace it. So this comes back with a promise, right? Just like we did in React, this comes back with a promise. And the first thing that comes back in the response is the raw response, which we don't necessarily want. So we're going to parse the JSON. And what that returns is the actual list of courses, which we can then populate our list of courses with this new list of courses. Okay, let's try that. Refresh. And did it go? Course, it came back with that. This one, right? Header. It went. Let me put a breakpoint somewhere here. Is it JSON? I might want to put a breakpoint there. Course, source. And let's navigate to our courses down here, source, app, and services, course service. No, wait a minute, I want the components. Course list component, TS, and let's put a breakpoint right here and here. So there's our response. Oops, JSON illegal. So that returns there. Wait a minute. Let me do it differently. Instead of doing this here, let me go to my service here, and so that is going to come back with a then here. So then. Yeah, let me do that here. Return. And hopefully that is actual courses that comes back here. And this will allow me to put a breakpoint right there. So same thing here. I'm going to put a parentheses. So that will allow me to put a breakpoint right there to see if something's wrong. Ah! Void is not assignable. Oh no. What? Let me see the service. Let me go down to services. App services. Down to core service. I don't think they loaded. That's wrong. That's not right. It didn't reload. Why are you not reloading? Oh, return maybe. Return. Okay, let me put a breakpoint there. Are you calling it? No, why are you not calling it? The components is here, comes here, on init, course service. Let's navigate in there. There we go. Response. So it should come here, return, then response. What am I getting here? Console, course. Urgh. Let me add 4200 as a valid query here. So let me turn this course here. So course, what is it? Course, cross, origin. There we go. And origins is equal to 4200. Let's restart the server. Oh, I might need to also include, what is it? Credentials include, right? So I might need to do that as well on the client. So this fetch here, I might need to do credentials include, right? Okay, that restarted. Let's try this again. Let's restart. Let's step in. Let's see. All right, at least it made it a little further. Okay, here's our, oops, let's see. Continue. Console. Still, course, which must be true, has been blocked by corresponding to the value of access control, credentials header. Credentials must be include. I did put include. On this side? So allow credentials. True? Was it a string? Yeah. What else? Anything else? Allow headers? Equal star? Okay. Oh, so you finished the assignment, huh? Awesome. You struggled through that, huh? That's awesome. Okay, let's try that again. There we go. CS1234, right? It's coming from the database with the IDs that come from the database. Again, with the use of all these various promises, right? Promise within a promise. The first promise parses the JSON body that then gets unwrapped by the client. Now this is nicer because it's better for the service to do the unwrapping, right? As opposed to letting the controller or the component having to do the unwrapping, right? It's better to let the hide the details of the fact of the transport layer, right? Leave those details down to the service layer as opposed to exposing those idiosyncrasies up at the component level. Okay? Awesome, that worked.